Are you going to play the video or should I? Okay. Well, hello, everybody. Hi, Manuel.
Hi, Mike. How's it going? And we're live, right? Are we live?
We are live for the first time. Like, this is amazing.
This is amazing technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's tell everyone why we're here, Mike.
Okay. You want to start, and I'll
Sure. So we told all of you out there, thank you so much for joining us. We're broadcasting live because today is a very special day. And what day is that?
It's Giving Tuesday.
That's right, Giving Tuesday. So if everyone does not know what that is, Giving Tuesday, there's many nonprofit organizations across the world, I believe, but let's focus on the US, who are actually asking for donations. Today is a big day. I mean, NNIC, the Northern Nevada International Center, is always asking for the participation of all our community members. But today we want to ask you, please, to donate to our organization. And we're going to tell you ways of doing that, and we're going to share some ways of doing that. But myself and Mike are hosting. We have also Kevin, also Zara, and also Heaven, who are joining us here on this broadcast. And throughout this period of time, we're going to do it for 2 hours. And we're going to be joined by actually Karina. She's coming on. Also Gladys might join us too from the RMP program, Refugee Resettlement Program. And then Mike is going to talk a little bit, and Kevin is going to talk a little bit, and I'll talk a little bit, and everyone will be happy. So thank you so much for joining us. And it's a really exciting opportunity for us to let you know and allow you to get to know the Northern Nevada International Center. Right, Mike?
That's right. That's right. We have so many things and so many good stories, and we figured this would be the best way to let you, our audience, hear about them. Just from my experiences and Manuel's and Karina's. Today, for the next 2 hours or so, we can even go longer if we're having a good time. You're going to meet all the staff members, and they're going to talk about one of three things. They're going to talk about their personal experiences of why they choose to work in the field of international relations and exchanges, or maybe one of our fabulous interns will talk about what inspired them about NNIC and our programs to come work with us and volunteer their time again and again and again as they do. We've got 2 interns that are on their second internships with us just because hopefully they had such a good time with us. And then 3, we're going to talk to you about our programs and answer any questions. So if you have questions today, there is a Q&A section at the very bottom. We will do segmented answering for each of the staff members as they're presenting. You can ask live questions, and we'll do our best to facilitate those answers. And then we're just going to show you a little PowerPoint here of kind of what to expect for today. If I could find it, you could tell it's live.
Well, I'll fill in while you're looking for it, Mike. Are you ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to let people know, and Mike will show you, but our website there's a way to donate to our organization. Obviously, we're part of, affiliation with the University of Nevada, Reno. So unr.edu/NNIC. And there's other ways. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick. And you could see Heaven put together this wonderful PowerPoint for us today. So thank you, Heaven. Today is obviously, as you know, it's December 1st, it's Giving Tuesday. It's the day that nonprofits like NNIC across the world are asking for any last year contributions because especially this year, we've always had a really good effort to raise some last minute funds to do some last minute good work before the new year. With COVID now, of course, obviously that's a little bit more important. So today you can see that this is kind of the rough schedule we're going to talk about. We're going to do 15-minute increments for our live sessions. And so you've got Manuel and I right now. At 12:15, our executive director, Dr. Karina Black, will be here. Then we'll get to hear first from Heaven, one of our former and current interns. And we're just going to take it from there. So we're really excited that you'll be joining us for the next 2 hours. Some of the things that we're really hoping you could look into is visit our Facebook page. visit our YouTube channel. We've got a couple of videos queued up for you to talk about our programs that way. But there's 3 ways you can help us. You can help donate to us today. One is via our website and our PayPal donate button. Another is really easy when you're doing your Christmas shopping is Amazon Smile. You just select your nonprofit, and we're the Northern Nevada International Center. Or you can follow these QR codes on the screen here. We're going to record this video, so if you miss it now, we can show it to you later. So again, thank you very much, and I'm turning it back over to Manuel.
Awesome, Mike. And as you guys can tell, so NNIC Donate, we have Amazon Smile, and then our website as well. So again, it's unr.edu/NNIC, and there's a way to donate there too. So we want to talk a little bit to you about, my program and Mike's program. There's a lot of programs. There's 3 programs that essentially make what NNIC is all about. One of them is exchange programs, and you'll hear Stacy talk about it. You'll hear Lauren is coming on as well and talking a little bit about it, and also Mike and Kevin encompasses part of that program. Myself, I run 2 things. I'm the language access specialist, which allows me to run the language bank, which you guys know about, and also I'm a refugee youth coordinator. And that position is very critical because it helps and focuses on our youth who are refugees. We're going to hear from Gladys as well, and she'll tell you about the RMP program, what that encompasses. And Karina obviously will tell us the whole entire thing about what NNIC is about and how we need your help. Now, through this process, we've been impacted by COVID-19 like the whole world, and that's why we need some help here. Okay, not the only reason, but that's one of the critical reasons. Mike, I know that the exchange programs has been impacted a lot. Would you like to tell everyone how the exchange programs has been impacted because of COVID-19?
Yeah. So if you know about NNIC or not, basically what we do is we bring the world together. That's our job, whether we're helping refugees, whether we're helping people who speak 2 different languages communicate. But on the exchanges division, which I manage, is really focused on bringing international visitors to the United States and to make human-to-human connections. Obviously, that's the worst thing to do right now because of COVID. So we are switching to a virtual world where we can still emotionally connect and where we can still conceptually connect with other people from around the world and our friends and colleagues, just like what we're doing here today. But as far as the in-person, we're hoping that next year, as we all are hoping for COVID to go away as fast as possible so we can resume the work of bringing people together again. So thanks for asking, Manuel. That we're happy to be doing this, and because of our lack of bringing in visitors, we are taking somewhat of a small financial hit, but we're grateful for any contributions that anyone could help us out with.
Yeah, and the critical thing about this too is that our organization is nonprofit, which obviously we depend on a lot of federal grants. We also depend on private donations, and this is where you come in, because the impact that you make through the money, through the effort that you're going to provide to us, and anything helps. A big amount, a small amount, $1, 10 cents, doesn't matter. It really is allowing us to connect with you and allowing us to give you and share with you stories about who we are as an organization, because we're in the business in many, many ways of connecting with the community, of collaborating with agencies across the nation, across the world, and also locally with local partners. And many of the things that you'll hear today, anything that we actually are doing eventually every single day in our daily work, is actually collaborating with people like you, who gives us money, who gives us your time. There's volunteers that encompass the work that the Refugee Resettlement Program as an example. So there's a lot of ways for you to provide any help to us. But today, right now, we need your support financially. So it would be really great to hear from you, and please donate. Can we show that again, how people can donate, Mike, so people are aware? There's one way, 2 ways, actually, and 3 ways for you. One is Amazon Smile, so look for the Northern Nevada International Center, and also as well through our website, through unr.edu/NNIC for Northern Nevada International Center. And then there's another one too through PayPal. I know that goes through our website, but then Mike will tell you about the last one. But anyway, the point that we're making here is we want to make this effort allow you to be part of our organization. And I know many of you know NNIC story, and I think it's very critical for you to support us. Okay, so here we are. So there's the donation links there. PayPal, you see it right there. Just look for us, and then Amazon Smile, smile.amazon.com, and look for the Northern Nevada International Center. And the last one is NNIC, the NNIC page, part of the university. So unr.edu/NNIC/opportunities and then /donate. We don't expect you to know all of that, but just go to unr.edu/NNIC and you'll be able to get to our donation page.
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. And Manuel, can I show you a cool video real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So we were not able to have our global gala this year, which was our main fundraiser. We had sold tickets, we had support, we had the best speaker lined up. We were so excited for everything to happen, and it just didn't work out the way that we had wanted it to. So I want to show you a video from the 2019 global gala that we had. If I could get it. I'm really not that bad at computers, but I will share my screen here. And then after I do this, we're going to welcome our executive director, Dr. Karina Black, and she will talk to you briefly. Okay, so check out this cool video from 2019. Cool video.
That video once, it was, I think it was, what was it, Tango, right?
That was the Tango, right?
What we're doing with it was a focus.
12 years ago, our first guest helped spawn a.
Oh, there's somebody there. Anyway, but there you go. So we do that. That's right, Mike. We didn't talk about the annual gala. Excuse me, the annual gala. I think we do it every single year, and this year, because of COVID, many things got canceled, and now obviously we didn't do it. But I hope next year, this coming 2021, is going to be better for all of us around the world, and the NNIC as well. Mike, do we have a guest coming up?
She just came in. So let me introduce you our executive director, Dr. Karina Black, and she's going to speak with you and welcome you to our Giving Tuesday event as well.
Hi, Karina. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, Manuelito?
All right, we're doing good. Well, welcome. Tell us about NNIC. What is NNIC? Who came up with this idea?
I have no idea, man. That's a crazy thing that we came up with a long, long time ago. Well, are you going to ask me questions, or am I going to talk about what I want to talk about?
Talk about what you want to talk, and I'll follow up with questions. How's that?
Sounds good. Okay. Well, I have some points I want to make. Certainly, 2020 has been an absolute interesting and challenging year for everyone. But I think on the whole, we have really tried to make the very best out of lemonade. And we are still squeezing as of this moment. So I just want to kind of talk about a little bit of the major milestones and highlights of 2020 and how we have adjusted at NNIC to try to manage in this new world that we're living in. So as you can imagine, we did not, after beginning of March, all international exchanges stopped. So we did not have anyone arriving to participate in our cultural and professional exchanges. But we did pivot, as the State Department says, many of our programs to virtual. And so we have begun a significant change from having people in the office to talking to them through our resources and with many virtual events on our computers. And that has been an interesting change, but it has also brought a lot of opportunities. So for example, we were going to host a group of young Latin American entrepreneurs this fall. And of course, that was changed and canceled. So now we are hosting the entrepreneurs this spring in a virtual format. And we're going to be partnering again with the Women's International Symposium in early March. And that's an organization out of the College of Business. And rather than just offering this opportunity for the Reno cohort, we can offer it to the entire cohort of about 250 entrepreneurs from all over Latin America. So in a sense, while we are seeing a lot of the challenges and the shortcomings of what COVID is bringing us, we also can see at the positive ways in which we are managing those. We did apply for a big virtual exchange with an organization called Stevens Initiative. And that's going to be for 500 participants in Middle East and North Africa and the United States. And hopefully we'll get that and start working on that in 2021 and 22. We also applied and received a technical assistance award from the New American Economy and Welcoming America. And this actually is for the city of Reno to become a more welcoming city and to recognize and highlight the contributions of immigrants. And we are starting that project actually on Thursday. We'll do an overview of how that's going to be managed, and we'll be creating a strategic plan with many partners in the city, including the university, the Chamber of Commerce, the Office for New Americans, and many other organizations. And I'm super excited about what that's going to look like for our community. I know a lot of organizations in our community and across the nation and the world have suffered significantly. And I'm pleased to say that we did not have to lay off any staff during the pandemic. We were able to keep everyone on board, either moving to this virtual programming or especially with refugee resettlement. We were still incredibly busy, and I'll describe some of those projects. For refugees, we had to significantly change the way we operate. And oftentimes that is providing meetings virtually. We were able to raise about $30,000 in private dollars from our community to help with emergency rental assistance. We did that at the very beginning of the pandemic. And we still have a small amount of funding left for that, which we hope that we can tap into and finalize all of that, and hopefully our economy will get back on track soon. We also pivoted a lot of the ways in which we communicate with our clients. We created WhatsApp groups that are linguistic to each of our cultural communities. We hired what we're calling community navigators. So those are refugees who are respected individuals in their communities, and they are now delivering our messages on how to sanitize their home, how to send their kids to school, and really manage in this new reality. We also, Manuel, actually, you created amazing videos with different people in the community on how young people and families can cope with the new realities of COVID. And so I'm really excited about the many different ways in which we have adapted. We actually, interestingly, we received a little bit more money for our Refugee Youth Mentor and School Impact Grant funding. So we were able to get Manuel an assistant who is going to be implementing a one-on-one mentoring program for our youth. That is especially important right now as many of our kids are unable to go to school. We have been able to distribute laptops and equipment for some of our students who didn't have any. But really the biggest challenge that we see is making sure that our kids don't fall through the cracks. And thanks to Manuel and his new assistant, Chloe, we're really going to try to push our families and our young students who are struggling with not having that one-on-one. And you can imagine coming to this country, the fastest way to learn English is by being around others. So that's a huge gap for our kids, especially, while it may not be as critical for many other components of the community to be together with others. For our clients, it's a lifeline. So we are doing whatever we can to make sure that we can have those one-on-one interactions. I'm also really happy that the new governor's office for New Americans in the governor's office has been very supportive and helpful in helping us manage the very challenging components of unemployment and PUA for our clients. And so we have, with some amazing volunteers, and as well as the Office for New Americans, we have really been making some headway in resolving a lot of the challenging claims that were unresolved for months and months and months. And so we're really grateful for them. I will leave you with some just really cool news that are making my day and my year, is that we're having 3 of our younger women refugees enroll in TMCC's CNA program. This is a nursing assistant program, and they'll be starting in January. It's an ESL combination with the CNA program, and they were accepted, and we're very happy for them. And the final super happy thing is that after our first refugees arrived a little bit over 4 years ago, our first family is purchasing their home. And in our next newsletter, I'll send out some pictures of the home and our happy family. And that, of course, is the ultimate goal of refugee resettlement, is self-sufficiency and success in America, as is the case with immigrants that are making this country a stronger and happier and more diverse and better place. So Manuel, you're an immigrant, I'm an immigrant. We're all in this together, and we're just excited what 2021 holds. I think while it's sometimes easy to fall into the trap of being negative and being concerned about all the things that are happening, we do worry about all the healthcare providers. I think about them every day when I wake up, the brave people who continue to help those who are in hospitals, and the numbers are just staggering. So I think in order to be as patriotic and as positive to those people who are giving their lives every day, it's our responsibility to do the best we can in staying home and staying distant, but also trying to make this place a better place for everyone that lives here. And that's what NNIC's core mission is all about. And I'm super grateful for my amazing team here at NNIC. You're going to hear from many of them, including staff and interns. So thank you for always supporting NNIC. Thank you, Manuelito, for always being our cheerleader. And we appreciate you.
I do have some follow-up questions. Thank you, Karina, for that compliment. I wanted to ask you, I know that there's a lot of moving parts to NNIC. It's not just one program or two, or there's 3 actually. But you mentioned a few of our things that we actually do. Now, NNIC has a great history here in this community. Can you just tell us just a tad, how did you get started with the vision of NNIC, and what was the purpose initially?
Sure. Well, it wasn't my vision originally. It was the vision of some professors at the University of Nevada Joe Crowley at the University of Nevada, people like Larry Struve and Shane Del Cohen, and others who really helped to create a vision that Reno could be a destination for international visitors. So these folks approached the city of Reno and asked for a seed grant in 1998. They received a grant from then Mayor Jeff Griffin, who said, I'll give you a little bit of money to start an organization at the University of Nevada, but don't ever come back for more. So we didn't, but we did grow our programs over the years, and started with, of course, the language bank and the exchanges, especially the International Visitor Leadership Program, but have since expanded the exchanges to about 14 different kinds of mostly federally funded exchanges, as well as some privately funded exchanges. And then in 2016, we became a refugee resettlement agency. So we have taken the very best of what Northern Nevada offers, which is amazing hospitality, great people who love to be engaged in the world, and a welcoming community that has amazing resources, whether it's for judges at the National Judicial College or the National Council for Juvenile and Family Court judges, to environmental resources. We, of course, have some of the most beautiful cultural events and places in the world. So Reno and Northern Nevada are going to remain an amazing destination for international visitors, and we are a welcoming community to refugees.
So we're here because we're asking all of you, because today is Giving Tuesday. So we're asking you for donations, and NNIC not only needs it today, but every day of the year. Obviously, we're on a big operation. You mentioned, Karina mentioned about all the people I work with, and I have the pleasure of working with, and it's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts, but your money is going to be well spent. We're going to do everything in our power to impact these families that Karina talked about, and all these programs that Karina talked about. But it's all about the impact that NNIC has worldwide. And we are a leader here in Nevada in terms of doing a bunch of our programs. But Karina, also wanted to ask you a quick question regarding the immense, the refugees are here in our community, and there's a bunch of families now here. Can you tell us how many families we have here now for that we have resettled, actually?
Yeah, we have about 65 refugee families that we have resettled, about 250 people in the last 4 years. In addition to refugees, sort of your traditional people that are displaced and then are invited through UNHCR in the United States State Department to come to the United States. We also assist asylees and special immigrant visa holders, SIVs. Those are individuals that helped US military in Afghanistan or Iraq. And we have a relatively new program, about a year and a half, for victims of human trafficking, mainly sex trafficking, but also labor trafficking. And the major places where our clients come from on these programs are Democratic Republic of the Congo, Syria, Afghanistan, and Central America.
Now, there's a lot of families here, a lot of youth, a lot of wonderful families who have adapted themselves to this community, the culture. They have to learn English. They have to do a lot of great stuff. Now, you mentioned earlier in your conversation about collaborations. We have a lot of partners in this community. We couldn't do it with everyone out there. I mean, there's a lot of people and organizations that do help our programs, that help our families. Can you talk about us, a little bit about that to the...
You're absolutely right. NNIC is only a very small piece of refugee resettlement. We are basically the conduit to pull all the strings together, but we rely on a huge number of community partners, from Washoe County School District, which has amazing resources for our youth, to various health partners, specifically HOPES and Community Health Alliance, as well as many other private providers. We have amazing collaborations with employment organizations and employers. Frankly, we receive so many calls from employers who are desperate for labor, and establishing those relationships to make sure that they are satisfied with the type of people that come to them, and giving some sort of an infrastructure has been hugely critical. I will say I wish we could create more collaborations with housing and apartment complex managers, because that is where our absolute biggest need is. We have the jobs, we have the support system, we have the volunteers, but housing, as everyone knows, is one of our huge challenges. Reno has not been able to keep up with the huge demand on especially low-income housing. And that's going to be our next big task, as we hope the Biden administration will increase, and has already vowed to increase, the number of refugees from a historic low of 15,000 back to 125,000 in the next fiscal year. We see that as our absolute biggest challenge, is to find appropriate housing for our refugee clients.
Well, there you go. You heard it from the best person in our organization. And you know, she gives us a lot of credit, but, you know, Karina, she's the machine behind all of us. And she's, you know, she inspires us, all of us. And I'm being honest about what I'm saying. Now, there's ways for you to donate. And one way is going to our UNR website, which is unr.edu/NNIC, and look for our donate button. Also, we are part of Amazon Smile, so look for the Northern Nevada International Center, and you can donate that way. But Karina, I think it's you know, it's important. You know, we've been, you know, the whole world and our community, our families have been impacted by COVID-19, and there's no even our programs. There's no way of saying this. We need your help out there. Please give us whatever you have. $1, 10 cents, doesn't matter. And you're part of us, and you know who we are, and we're speaking to the choir. You know who we are. We're all about, and we've been telling you all these things, and you'll hear from a bunch of people who will share their story too. Karina, unless you have anything else to say, I think thank you so much for joining us today on our live cast.
All I have to say is that you rock, Manuel.
No, we all rock. We're rockers.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you, Karina, so much.
Okay.
Okay, so as Karina is departing, I want to let you guys know that we are waiting for your donations. Please go to Amazon Smile, look for the Northern Nevada International Center, as well as go to our website, unr.edu/NNIC. And coming up next, we actually have an intern. Her name is Heaven, who will speak to you and tell and share with all of you her story about how she started with NNIC, and we'll follow it up with some questions. So I think Heaven is on right now. Heaven, hello, Heaven.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So tell us a little bit about who you are and how did you end up joining NNIC? What was that curious part about you that you attracted you to NNIC?
So, I'm a senior at UNR and I'm graduating this spring, and I'm currently double majoring in political science and international affairs with an emphasis in Africa. And yeah, so I previously interned at NNIC during spring 2019, and how I got into it mainly was I started searching for a bunch of internships within the Reno area, and then I somehow stumbled upon NNIC. And as I was going through the website, like, it definitely seemed something very interesting to me and like what I study in particular. So then I started working there from January to May 2019. And I worked really closely with NNIC's refugee resettlement program to help out with donations there. And I worked a lot on our exchange programs too, and worked a lot on IVLP things with Mike, which was really cool because there were so many influential visitors that would come to Reno. And I really learned a lot from so many of the visitors that would come in and tell us their experiences and how they're making a difference in their own countries. And so this was all in 2019. I'd taken a gap before interning again because I was studying abroad my junior year. And then I came back to intern this semester, and I'm really glad to be back. It's definitely very different now coming back to intern with everything being virtual now, but it was easy to adapt since most of our programs are still able to function virtually now. And currently, I'm still helping out with exchange programs, such as the Algerian Youth Leadership Program. I've been helping Stacy out a lot with that, and with the current application cycle that just applied. And so, yeah, overall, I've had a really great experience with NNIC. I learned so much about global engagement, international relationships, and basically how to think globally and but act locally. So, yeah.
Share with me a little story about, go back to a program that you can think of, uh, and let me know about an experience that kind of sticks out that you can remember. But before you tell me that, I want to tell people and remind people on how to donate, because we want people to continue to donate, and it's very critical that they do. So, two ways that I want to mention to you: unr.edu/NNIC. Look for our donate button around there. It will be there and it will appear. And also, if you go to Amazon Smile, look for the Northern Nevada International Center. Okay, Heaven. So don't make me wait more. What is that story that kind of sticks out? That experience that kind of allowed you to say, "Wow, this is worth it. This is why I'm here."
I think with one of the exchange programs that we had, where there were a bunch of Russian women entrepreneurs that came to Reno, I think that one was definitely like up for the books for me. That one was really cool. There were so many different women with like different experiences of how they were like helping out their communities. We had an international human rights lawyer from Russia. There was a woman that was basically trying to change like plus size culture in Russia. Like there were so many different women that came to that panel, and I think that was really cool to experience.
And it's really cool because we are fortunate that usually you have to travel to other countries to experience culture, but not anymore. Through our programs, especially families who become host families, they live it every single day, and people from all over the world come to Nevada, come to us in our community. They actually, something that is critical for us to mention, Heaven, is the fact that all these people that participate and come here from other countries through our programs, they actually provide a lot of economic fortune, if you will, to our community, because they support our community as well financially. They shop here, they stay in hotels, go shopping, etc., etc. So anyway, so all that, not only they're bringing their culture, but also their fortune, that they are allowing us not only to learn about their culture, but also they participate in our community, and our community is richer because of that reason. What else is there another experience that you can think of that kind of sticks out and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to tell you this story?
Maybe there was this one time we had a religious like panel come through, and they were different Arabic speaking people, and it was interesting for me because I was learning Arabic at that time, and I had to like, it was different learning the different dialects and like listening into all the different people that were speaking on the panel, and yeah, that was really cool.
Awesome. Well, Heaven, we're a better organization because of people like you, who, you're donating your time. We're not paying you behind the curtains here. But it's important for people to know that we are also being part and affiliated to the university. We're fortunate to have students who are also intern for us. And I believe many of those, students, and Lauren will be coming on pretty soon, and she'll be able to tell people a little bit, since she knows best about interns and how they join our organization. So, Heaven, do you think NNIC has made you a better person, you believe?
Yeah, absolutely. I got more of an outlook at how nonprofits like help the community and how, especially this one in particular, can work in a very global like manner and still be in a local sense. So yeah, I learned a lot from here.
Well, thank you, Heaven, for being part of NNIC. And I know that for a lot of people out there, whether they participated in our programs, our refugee families, our youth, our my coworkers, everyone who is part of NNIC, there's always something that NNIC leaves in their heart. And I really believe that. So, and you're a true story about it. So thank you so much for joining us today on our live
Thank
cast.
you.
And we want to, can you actually, before you leave, can you tell people how to donate?
Yes, you can go to the NNIC page, the donate page that was, I don't know if I can share my screen and actually just show you. Let's see. So if you go to the PayPal page right here on this link, you can donate from there, or you can go to Amazon Smile and click on that link and just search Northern Nevada International Center, or you can go to the NNIC page through the UNR website and donate from there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Heaven. And we do want people to participate in Giving Tuesday. We have about an hour and 15 minutes that we're still going to broadcast live. And we want people to continue to do it throughout the day, tomorrow, and continue throughout the week. Why not? Thank you, Heaven, so much for joining me today and joining our organization on Giving Tuesday. So I really appreciate you coming on, okay? So wanted to also let you know, I'm going to have Mike join me here in a second so he can tell a little bit of the work he does. And then we'll have Lauren Kroll, which many of you have worked with in the past through other programs. But we wanted to share with you the importance about the money that you are donating. You know, you see the work, you have lived through the work that we do. You know us, and that's the biggest part. A lot of people who we're in the business of building relationships too. That's what I usually tell to my clients and everything like that. And I think many of you out there watching have lived through an experience, and NNIC has touched you in a very special way, right, Mike?
Absolutely. I've heard many, many stories of all the lives that have either been affected from our home hosts to our community partners, to just staff in general. I feel like we feel really blessed with getting to meet people and having all these great experiences from all over the world. Manuel, actually, while we have the opportunity, I want to introduce Darren, because Darren has all the stories. Just to give Darren a little credit, because he's a little humble. Darren's been, besides Karina, the longest employee at NNIC. He has literally spent more miles on the road with our international visitors than all of us combined. He can tell you things about taking visitors to Burning Man and Lake Tahoe, and I'll let him speak for himself. But I just want to let the world know that we have a very talented transportation ambassador, as we like to call him, because he does more than just drive. He makes our visitors' lives top notch while they're here in Reno, and it's the gentle touch that really sets him above anybody else. So without further ado, I'm going to step aside, and here's Darren.
All right, Darren. Thank you, Darren, for joining us today. There he is. Perfect.
Hey, Manuel.
How are you, Darren?
I'm fair to Midland. How are you today?
Good. So tell us about, your work that you do, which is extremely important to the organization.
Yeah, I'll keep it relatively quick because I know you're fitting me in between, coworkers and people with more interesting things to say. So to reference what Mike was saying, yeah, I've been here since 2004. Karina threw me in right away to an open world project, which was 12 to 15-hour days for a week. They stayed with home hosts. And that was my trial by fire. That set the tone for me being at the NNIC. And fortunately, I've been able to be involved with a lot of the programs that we handle over the years, different components. Sometimes I'm just driving and I get to know the groups that way. Lately, I've been doing Well, when we still were doing proposals, I was writing a lot of proposals, which was a nice change up for me. Help the refugee program when I can. And yeah, it's really an interesting variety to see who's coming and why they're coming and how we can make their stay here the best that it can possibly be.
And like Mike said, you are literally an ambassador to the organization, and a lot of times you're the first person our guests see at the airport, whether you're picking them up or picking up their luggage and coordinating all these transportation, which is a big deal. I think coordinating all this is not just oh, it's an easy thing to do. No, it takes a lot of collaboration. If a car breaks down, one of our vans or one of our vehicles, guess who does the work? Darren. I mean, he's coordinating everything behind the scenes a lot of times, and that's why you see him in the vehicle, but he coordinates everything. He manages everything. And I know through our efforts in the past, Darren, getting people to donate money, we have been able to purchase a vehicle too, right? In the past, and do can you tell people what kind of their money, where it goes in terms of transportation?
Sure. I mean, we're unique nationally in that we have our own fleet to use for the groups that we do host and the needs that we have for transportation. We make ourselves be a lot more available and a lot more flexible, especially because the nature of the meetings and appointments that they may have aren't going to be something that you could just take a cab or an Uber, to go see a goat farm out in Fallon, or to go have a recreational day at Pyramid Lake and go on a, one-on-one with members of the Paiute tribe, or maybe we're going to drive around Tahoe and have a picnic. So the fact that we have our own vehicles that allow us to do that really does set us apart. And in the exchanges program, the liaisons, the English language officers, the interpreters, they all know us. They know Mike really, really well. They know me really, really, really well. So they see Reno on the program, and the participants and the delegates might be like, why are we going to Reno? But those representatives through the State Department who know us personally, they're like, oh, Reno's going to be great. You're going to have a great time there. The people are wonderful. The appointments are going to be, superb, and you have nothing to worry about. And so we live up to that. That's why I'm going on my 17th year here, because I believe in that component of one-on-one diplomacy.
So if you've never been late to a presentation from our programs, if you are there timely, if there's somebody picking you up at the doorstep of your hotel or something like that, it's all Darren's working behind the scenes. He really does a great job. And he just mentioned about his efforts right now helping the refugee resettlement program. He's actually transporting sometimes some families to a medical appointment or something like that, or taking furniture. He does a lot of things for our organization. Darren, there's two ways for people to donate through our Giving Tuesday, obviously through our website, which is unr.edu/NNIC, as well as Amazon Smile. So go to Amazon Smile and type in Northern Nevada International Center. Darren, you heard me, I don't know if you heard me have a conversation with Heaven, one of our interns, and she was talking a little bit of her experience at NNIC, and maybe, I know that, many years working with NNIC, you probably have really cool stories, but is there something that stands out from one of the programs or an experience you had where you just, it does something to you that you said, like, this is why I do this work?
Well, yeah, I sort of alluded to that just with, I take it personally to represent the NNIC and to make Mike look good, or, to make you look good, or Karina, whoever the program coordinator may be, whether it's Stacy or Lauren or Nilofer or anybody that we've had in the past. And that's what is most gratifying. So there's hundreds of stories that make me feel motivated to keep coming back for more, because it is changing that perception of, oh man, we got to go to Nevada and we're not going to be by Vegas. And saying, yeah, right off the bat, we have so much to offer up here and you're probably going to love it. And when they come back to us and say that they did in fact have a wonderful time here, that's the one that keeps me, regenerating and remotivated, and why I will get up at 3 a.m. or deal with one of the 6 vehicles we have that's broken down, because they're all high mileage, because that's what we can afford. we've had 4 vehicles in my tenure here bite the dust. You know, the engines blew up, the transmissions dropped. That could have been during a group of women from Belarus singing happy birthday to one of their friends, and the bus blew up while I was driving them. So we know it's going to happen again, but yeah, it's just, that's the component that I really like to come back to, because each group has something unique to offer, and there will be something memorable about each of those groups. So there's not just one experience where I'm like, oh man, that was so amazing. I could say that about almost every group that I've worked with. So,
And and it's true. I mean, you're humble about it, but I think you're also the face of NNIC. I mean, people see you transporting them, they see you at the airport, they see you everywhere. And we have a new tagline, Darren, which is leading Nevada's global engagement. And
right.
and what you're talking about is exactly that. I mean, we are sort of the the face of Nevada to a lot of them. And even at the beginning, they're hesitant about Reno. Where is Reno and what does it provide? But when they come here, they're like, oh my gosh, Lake Tahoe is nearby and our gem, and they love the experience a lot of times. And you mentioned earlier too about the vehicles that we use a lot of times. They need gas, right? They need maintenance. They need a lot of things, and the money that we gather from not only federal grants but private donations, like today with through Giving Tuesday, it's essential to the work that you do, and I think it makes worthwhile to let people know how to donate. So unr.edu/NNIC, or through Amazon Smile, which you just look up Northern Nevada International Center. Is there any other thing that you would like to share with us, Darren? I know that there's, I get, we can spend a whole day talking to you about your experiences that you have had, which they're magical, but wanted to let you know, have the last word on your part.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate that, Manuel, because I am still actually actively promoting and recruiting for a program we're doing that is for the Dubai Global Expo. It's still called Expo 2020, even though it is theoretically going to happen October of next year through March of 2022. So the NNIC was one of the agencies that was given the okay to recruit people from the area to represent the US at the USA Pavilion in Dubai. And if anybody's interested in that, you can grab the information off of our website. Just find me on our website if you want to email me directly, and I can answer any questions somebody may have about it. Cultural performers, speakers, and youth ambassadors, we're looking for all of those. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now, in lieu of no real transportation needs because all the exchange programs are in limbo. We're not making any driving revenue. So that's, another thing that's driving me up the wall as well. And that was not a pun, I apologize. But yeah, look up the Global Expo for Dubai, and if somebody wants to give it a shot, I'd be happy to help them with the application.
Awesome. And there's ways to contact Darren. Go to our website, unr.edu/NNIC, and you'll see Darren's information, and you'll be able to donate as well. Darren, unless you have anything else, thank you so much for joining us today during our live cast for Giving Tuesday. We appreciate you and all the work that you do for NNIC. So thank you so much. And Darren is always available to talk to any of you, and Darren because you have gone along with on his bus or something like that. So thank you, Darren, for joining us. We really appreciate you.
Thanks, Manuel.
All right, cool. So there's 2 ways I mentioned about how to donate. There's unr.edu/NNIC, and also through Amazon Smile. You just go to Amazon Smile and type in the Northern Nevada International Center. We're going to have pretty soon joining us Lauren Kroll. You know her through many of the programs as well, and she's going to be talking to you about what she does as part of our organization. Now, I want to share my screen because I did earlier today, I did an interview with one of our great, my coworker, Stacy Kenyon, and many of you know her, you have worked with her, and I want to play a little video, and I'm hoping to do that right now with you. So here is the video. So here we go. I'm going to share it. I'm going to hold it. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. All right. Here it is. Okay, that's recording. Okay. So I'm being joined by Stacy. Stacy, how are you?
Good. How are you, Manuel? Excited.
Good.
It's Giving Tuesday.
It's Giving Tuesday. That's correct. So thank you so much for joining us. I know that you couldn't make it for our live cast, but it's okay. You're here now. So let's start off by letting everyone know your title and what exactly do you do for NNIC?
I am an international programs manager at NNIC. I run our youth division of our exchanges. So our Brazilian youth leadership program, youth leadership programs with Kenya and Algeria, and then I pick up professional programs like Open World and Community Connections as needed.
Now, that's a lot of programs that you actually run. It takes a lot of coordination, a lot of networking within the community and elsewhere. I know that that's a long process. Walk us through a day-by-day kind of when it comes to a day during a program. As an example. What happens during a program? I know it's chaos, but.
Well, all of our youth programs are home hosted. So as our Community Connections and Open World, the programs that I mentioned before, which are professional programs with the Eastern Bloc countries. And so the day usually starts with our wonderful home hosts dropping off their participants at our meeting point for the day. And then we go through any meetings that meet the program themes. So for our Algerian Youth Leadership Program, for example, we have students that are learning about social entrepreneurship and leadership. And so they'll be doing seminars or workshops with community organizations or with community resources. So we work really closely with the UNR School of Business and School of Journalism, and they learn how to coordinate a project that they will do to serve their community when they get back to Algeria or to their American communities. So it's all teamwork, team building, leadership within the context of learning how to make a final project that changes their community in the end.
Yeah, and there's a lot of magic that does happen within the process of the whole entire program. I've seen it happen. There's a lot of involvement from home hosts, which they're critical to the process, and maybe letting people know out there that they can volunteer to be home host. They can contact you, right? What else can people do to provide more support for you?
Home hosting is huge, as Manuel said. So if you're ever interested in having a youth or an adult participant in your home, typically goes between 6 days and 12 days. And you drop them off in the morning, pick them up in the afternoon, and I take care of everything else in between, including all their transportation. And they also have some night programs, but you typically have them in the evening as well for dinner so that your family can get to know them during that time. And then the weekends typically are for host families. So anything that your family typically does during the weekend, you have your guest come along with you. Other hosts also can pick up and take your guest as well if you have something that you need to do that you can't take your guest with you. That's huge, that kind of support from the community. Monetary support is also wonderful. It helps us be able to run the programs that we run. So anything outside of our federal funding that needs to be taken care of, keeping our lights on, buying supplies, getting thank yous for volunteers, that sort of thing is where your money goes to keep our programs running. So.
Okay, you couldn't have heard it from a better person than I, which is Stacy, telling everyone out there to please donate as much as you can, as little as you can, doesn't matter, because it does keep the lights on. It continues the process of connecting with the community, collaborating with the community, and changing the lives of so many people and youth across the world. And that's the impact that NNIC does. Now, tell me really quickly, Stacy, how long have you been part of NNIC, and how did you get started? A little bit.
I've been with NNIC for 5 years. So I knew of NNIC when I went to the University of Nevada for my undergrad. And it was something that I always wanted to get involved with, just because I did see the positive impact on the community, the relationships that are built with people in the community. So it's absolutely wonderful to see with our open world or community connection programs, for instance, people from Eastern Bloc countries connecting with people from Reno and being able to start business partnerships, share best practices. That is something that I've looked at and wanted to be involved in for years. And then as well, seeing the impact on the community from the projects that these youth are going back and doing. So trash pickups. We had some youth here in Northern Nevada raise about $600 for the Eddy House, which is a nonprofit that helps homeless youth in the area. So as part of their training for the program, they learned how to do that. We have youth that do anti-bullying campaigns, do anti-drug campaigns. So just seeing the type of impact that these programs have on the community was something that I wanted to be involved in. And that overarching international piece of just getting people in the same room and being able to break through stereotypes, break through what we see in the media, what we might see in movies or television, or what people in other countries are seeing about us in the media or movies or television. Just really giving people that opportunity to actually sit down and connect and learn about each other from the horse's mouth is really the magic of what we do. And so having seen a couple of those programs go on, and the magic that it produces was what I wanted to be a part of. So I'm glad that I get to do that every day.
Well, and that kind of wraps, really your position and your role at NNIC, and encompasses everything that you're talking about in your daily work on the impact you're making. And some of our refugees were actually part of some of the programs that you run too, which it was an amazing opportunity for them too.
Yeah.
So any other thoughts, Stacy, before we close this little interview with you? And again, thank you for coming on, but I wanted to give you the last word.
I just wanted to thank everyone who donates their time through hosting, either having a guest in their home overnight or having guests in their home for dinner, who volunteers to help drive, to help coordinate appointments and homes for refugee families. We are a small team and we're extremely dedicated and love what we do, but we absolutely could not do it without the support from our community. And that has been absolutely amazing. Having people volunteer their time to meet with visitors and share best practices and learn about what they do that's what makes these programs run. So thank you to the Reno community so much for all that you've given us. And thank you for continuing to do so that we can keep going on the work that we love to do.
Awesome. Couldn't have said it way better. But thank you so much, Stacy, for joining us. We're going to go back to our live broadcast that is going on right now. But thank you, Stacy, and great work. And now please give us money. Give us money because we do need it, and we'll make good use of it. So thank you, Stacy.
Absolutely will. Thank you.
See you soon.
Happy Giving Tuesday, everyone.
Bye-bye. All right, so that was Stacy, and you heard from her about her experience, her programs that she runs. So we thank her for participating on this live cast that we're actually broadcasting live, and wanted to remind you why we're here. We're here because of Giving Tuesday. Now, what is Giving Tuesday? It's your opportunity to provide to us some love. And how can you provide that love? Financially. That's what we're talking about. So there's two ways of donating: going to our university website, which is unr.edu/NNIC, and also go to Amazon Smile, look for the Northern Nevada International Center. You have to type it all in, and that way you can donate through there as well. So you have heard from Stacy, from Mike, from Karina, a little bit from myself, and it's been a really great opportunity for you to get to know us a little bit. Now, Osara, I don't know if Osara can come on with me, if she can hear me, but I want to introduce you to Osara. Osara is another intern that we have before we actually go to Lauren in a little bit. We'll meet her in a second, and you know Lauren. But Osara, how are you? And thank you for joining me today on this broadcast live for Giving Tuesday. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, awesome. And you are yet another intern, another amazing intern we have had. You know, NNIC has been blessed by having a lot of interns who are so dedicated, just like yourself, like Heaven and Keanu, and many people behind you guys have actually followed you guys. But anyway, you guys are really the torch in our community, because you're also not only doing the little legwork, helping programs kind of come together, but you're also in the front, leading sometimes, right? You're also writing with the guests. You're participating with the whole process, and you're learning and getting a very rich opportunity for you to learn from NNIC, and also meet people from all over the world. So I wanted to give you this opportunity for you to, just like Kevin did, to talk to us about your experience, and just start off with your name, and what are you studying, and what are you looking forward, or what have you been working with NNIC, and in what capacity?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Azora Cheek. I'm a senior at the University of Nevada, Reno. I actually graduate this week, so yay, made it. But I studied the international affairs with an emphasis in diplomacy and a minor in French. I've always grown up with a passion for civil liberties and wanting to help in any way possible. So that kind of just translated and transformed into my studies and hopefully future careers. At NNIC, I got connected through one of the UNR recruiters, Quentin Smith. He's been a good friend of mine since high school, helping me with college applications and things like that. And he got me connected to NNIC because this nonprofit's ideals match almost parallel to mine. They're the exact same. And it's been such a blessing to be here for almost a little over a year and a half now at this point. I took a little bit of a hiatus because I studied abroad last semester. And again, that probably wouldn't have happened without the help of people from NNIC. I got connected to the Gilman Scholarship, which helped me be able to study abroad. So I'm really appreciative of everyone's work here. As an intern, I started with exchange programs. So I worked along with the program coordinators in developing schedules, doing research for the different programs, especially for the International Visitor Leadership Program. And I've been able to go along with on the different opportunities that the foreign delegates have been able to go on and experience what they have been able to experience through these programs. I've also worked with on the Fulbright orientation as well, which was so eye-opening, and seeing like people of similar age doing such amazing things, and has kind of motivated me to be on that caliber as well. Recently, I've been working with the refugee programs or refugee department, and helping with housing, hunting for housing, and getting people connected to employers and things like that. So I'm fully appreciative of my time here at NNIC, and I truly cannot think of a better internship for someone who just wants to help and wants to bring a global audience to a local town.
So the opportunities that NNIC has given you have been pretty rich, right? Would you say that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You guys have gone above and beyond. Like you always are offering help with like resume building or proposals, and like I've been able to help write proposals, which has helped me understand what I want to do moving forward with my life. Yeah, NNIC has been a great avenue in helping me find what I want to do in the future, and has also helped me see direct impacts that individuals can have on the world. So.
Well, can you tell people how to donate? You know, you have that information in front of you?
Absolutely. You guys can donate through the NNIC webpage. You can also donate on Amazon through Amazon Smiles, and the PayPal link is also through NNIC's webpage. Also, Instagram has a link tree in our bio. NNIC's Instagram has a link tree in their bio that helps you kind of see all the different programs we have, as well as the areas where you can donate.
Awesome. Do you have any other last words that you would like to, or something insightful, something cool that you would like to tell us before you go?
Yeah, NNIC is such an incredible nonprofit. It holds a very special place in my heart and a place in this community. It's helped bring the community, it not only has helped international visitors experience a small town in the United States of America, but it's also helped people within this town and this community to realize that there's so much more to offer and so much more out there in the world. And it's a cultural exchange for both parties, and it's such an amazing amazing nonprofit to be a part of and to witness.
There's no better way to tell you stories, to tell you the impact that NNIC has in people's lives through Ozara. It's a great example. So thank you, Ozara, for joining us today. And we really appreciate you and all the work that you've done for NNIC and all the work that you'll do from here on forward with other adventures and a great journey that you'll have ahead of you. So thank you so much for doing the work that you do, okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Okay, cool. So now I have another guest coming up that I want to introduce you to, and his name is Kevin. And while Kevin is coming on, I wanted to let you know 2 ways to donate through Amazon Smile. Look for the Northern Nevada International Center, as well as our website, unr.edu/language. I'm telling you, Language Bank. No, go to NNIC, unr.edu/NNIC. I'm so used to giving Language Bank at the very end. So anyway, but joining me now, guess who it is? It's Kevin. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me on our broadcast live Giving Tuesday today. So I wanted to introduce you to the whole world and introduce everyone to the community and tell us about you, a little bit about yourself, and how did you get started with NNIC? And I know you have some great stories as well that you want to share with us.
Yeah, thank you, Manuel. So my story goes back to 2012, actually. I came here as an English learner. I came here to study English as my second language. So I went to the Intensive English Language Center at UNR first to study English. And I realized that there's some special admission program that is allowing me to enter UNR directly after completing IELC program. So I went to UNR after the English program to study international affairs, and Karina was my professor in my freshman year at UNR. And in Korea, actually, I was studying different major. I was studying law, but all the time, I really wanted to study international affairs and diplomacy and some political science. So it was so lucky for me to study international affairs at UNR and meet Karina, because I remember Karina invited some international visitors to the class. Actually, in my freshman year, I didn't have a lot of ideas, because English was my second language. So I don't know what's going on, but something cool is happening here. And a couple of years later, when I was about to graduate, I was taking only one class. I had a lot of time. And I was thinking about, Dr. Black was running an international organization. I might need to talk to her. So I sent an email to Karina, and she was like, come to my office to talk. So I walked into NNIC's old building right on the center street. And she was like, so like, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to have some experience in this international exchange world. And I'm very interested in meeting all people from different countries and different cultures and help you to coordinate those programs. As soon as I finished my speech, she was like, okay, guys, new intern, I got accepted. And right after that interview, I met Mike. He was sitting in the lobby there, and I literally started my intern experience right after the interview. And I was so lucky to work on international visitor leadership program. And after that, I took some years off to study my master's degree in international education in Monterey, California. And when I was finishing my program, I got a phone call again from Karina asking if I'm interested in working for an international exchange program for Korean university students. So like, oh, I'm basically I'm from South Korea. So I'm like, oh, yes, why not? Right? I want to share my amazing experience in Wild West, high desert, very unique culture of Reno, Nevada, with my Korean colleagues and Korean friends. So I came back to Reno and I coordinated 1 week, actually it's 2 weeks long, short-term faculty-led program for Korean Women's University journalism students. And alongside with that, I'm assisting Mike and Stacy, Nilofer, and sometimes Darren. Yeah, I'm really enjoying my work at Northern Nevada International Center.
So, I mean, you told us a lot, which is awesome. So I know that you've been part of NNIC for a long time. You have helped with so many programs, and you know, and just like all of us wear different hats a lot of times and provide other help to other programs too. So I know that you have helped with the refugee resettlement program at times, and sometimes at the language bank. You actually have helped me at the language bank, so that was pretty amazing. So can you tell us? I mean, I've been asking this question to a lot of people, but tell us a little bit, like a few stories maybe that you can think of, one or two, if you will, about your experience with a specific program or something that kind of sticks out.
Yeah, so now I'm thinking about one IVLP, International Visitor Leadership Program. Actually, the visitors were from Central Asia. They were from Kyrgyzstan. They were here with the theme of agriculture development. Since their environment and Reno's environments are pretty same, they had a lot of opportunities and chances to visit all the agricultural facilities in Reno. And they realized that, oh, there's so many things we can work together and we can learn from and we can share. So I literally witnessed it. They are making some agreements, like just verbal agreement at the time, to share their agricultural knowledge and information to make better environments on their businesses. Something like this. Through coordinating these international exchange programs, I've been watching a lot of mutual benefiting stuffs are going on between the countries to make the world a better place to live. This is the most significant experience I've ever had in my life at NNIC.
And we hope that you're going to continue to live many of those experiences. Now, you mentioned a little bit about the stuff that you've done. Did you mention about the current projects that you're currently working on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Korean University Students Journalism Program is actually coming in virtual setting now. The 2020 program got canceled because of COVID. So we were actively communicating with Reynolds School of Journalism at UNR and two universities this time. Actually, previous program had invited only one university in Korea, but the other university in Korea, they heard about our program and they showed their interest. So it's official now. We just got some proposal yesterday from School of Journalism at UNR. Two university journalism departments are coming in virtual in January next year. this time we are visiting Las Vegas' CES conference first virtually and collaborating with UNR journalism department's professors to learn more about this local journalism and US journalism. And participants will actively participate in this learning experiment. And also I'm talking one international high school in Vietnam and also in Brazil. And they are high school students. They are interested in coming to Reno to study English and experience some cultural excursions. So now we are still talking, but eventually we are going to host these two groups from Vietnam and Brazil, and we will provide a great opportunity for them to enjoy this English learning environment and also cultural Wild West cultural experience.
You know, you were mentioning about, I mean, through COVID, we have learned how to adapt to the virtual world. But, you know, how can people in our community still participate even though we're doing a lot of virtual programming? How can they participate still?
I really appreciate the willingness of these local resources and local people who are supporting us. Even though everything is now turning into virtual setting, I think Reno community, Northern Nevada community, Carson City, or any other places around here, they're pretty good at utilizing this virtual format. So whenever we are asking some meetings in virtual setting, they're willing to do it. So if you are willing to help us in coordinating these international exchange programs, we are here. If you are not familiar with using these virtual programs, we are here to support you. Or if you know well about this virtual setting, then that's perfect. So through Zoom or Microsoft Teams or any other virtual format, that's the way how you can involve in these international exchange programs in this pandemic situation.
Awesome. And I'm glad you mentioned that because there's many ways for people to still participate even though we're going virtual. But there's one critical way people can actually help right now. Since it's Giving Tuesday, how can they do that?
You can go to NNIC website to donate, or Amazon Smile, or if you go to NNIC's Instagram page, there's a Linktree link connecting to the donation website so that you can help us through donation.
There you go. So there's Instagram, there's our UNR website, unr.edu/NNIC, as well as Amazon Smile. Look for us at Northern Nevada International Center. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today and talking about your experience and the work that you do with the Northern Nevada International Center. Is there any other thing that you want to share with us before we let you go?
Oh, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
There you go. Kevin is, thank you, Kevin, for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Now, Kevin is yet another coworker that I have, as well as many others that you have met already, who do a lot of great, fine, and high quality work, part of our organization. So again, two ways: Amazon Smile, look for Northern Nevada International Center, donate that way, and also unr.edu/NNIC. And guess who we're about to see? It's Lauren Kroll. Lauren, if you're on, come on with me right now. Lauren has been part of our organization for quite a while. She has a really unique story as well. She has joined the Northern Nevada International Center through, I think, a federal program through, I think, Vista program. But I wanted to introduce all of you to her, and she's preparing to come on. I wanted to remind you the reason why we're here. We want to allow you to not only connect with us, but also learn about our organization, and also please provide us some help financially. We cannot do it without you. And many of you out there have done a lot of work with NNIC in the past. You have probably have hosted one of our guests. You probably have volunteered for our refugee resettlement program. You probably have donated furniture for our families. You probably have done, you know, a lot of work, and maybe you work for an organization that, you know, provides a lot of support to NNIC. Mike, are you on? Well, we have Lauren coming on pretty soon, but I wanted Mike to also share with you guys other things with you and experiences that he has had. I don't know if he's going to join us, but I'll give him a moment too. There he is. Perfect. I missed you, Mike. Where are you?
You were doing such a good job. I didn't want to get in your way. I was like,
No. I need you around. But I know that, you know, all these people, you know, they have a leader, and you're one of their leaders. You know, we met Kevin. We're about to meet Lauren and Stacy, which heard from Stacy, and many of the people that have actually done a lot of great programming work. What can you share more in an extension to what we have already covered in terms
absolutely.
of?
Well, I just think not only do we get the benefit of working in one of the most diverse offices around. I mean, I can't even think of more culture and able-bodied, willing, you know, people that love languages and they love food and, you know, all this stuff. But one of my favorite things that you know, I get to be a part of is I get to see the interns come in. We've met, you know, 2 of them today, and to see where they go and how they blossom into such wonderful professionals. And we'll hear from Lauren and her journey and how she's come so far, you know, working with us now too. And so I'll get more into that later, but I think now that we got Lauren here, I'll talk about IVLP a little bit later. So.
Awesome. Hi, Lauren. There she is.
Hello.
Big smile. Oh, talking about smile, that's how you can donate money. Go to Amazon Smile and look for the Northern Nevada International Center. So, Lauren, I know that you have a great history with us. And Mike, I would like you to stay on and help me ask Lauren some questions. But Lauren started with us through a federal program. And would you like to share to people who are listening and watching, how did you get started with NNIC?
Yeah. So I started as an AmeriCorps Vista volunteer, which is that federal program. And I was working with the Northern Nevada International Center's refugee resettlement, along with Gladys. And I did that for a year and 2 months before I started my position as a program coordinator on the Mandela Washington Fellowship and Fulbright T program.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned, you know, it seems like all of us who eventually work for NNIC, we're doing every program, right? We have something to do with other programs, and we kind of help with each other. And I think that makes us a richer organization, because not only of the diversity that we have, like Mike said, but rather more the fact that we are able to assist other programs and learn from the work that we all do, because we all have very unique, you know, ways of doing things, and also positions. So, Mike, do you have a question for Lauren?
Yeah, Lauren, I was, you've told us that you love the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And if you could tell us a little bit more about it, and why is it that you love it so much, that I think everyone else would love it with you.
Of course. You don't have to ask me very hard to talk about the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I don't even know where to start. So I guess just a little bit about the fellowship in general. It is a part of the Young African Leadership Initiative that was started during the Obama administration. And the Mandela Washington Fellowship is a flagship program of that initiative. And so there's other kinds of fellowships that are regional on the African continent. And then this fellowship brings people from sub-Saharan Africa to America across the country. We're one of many universities that hosts the program, and there's roughly 700 fellows that come each summer across the country, and we host 25. And the program that we host is for business people of many different industries. And most of the fellows are working for someone, so for some other company, run their own company, and are doing something for their community in addition to both of those things. So they are already leaders in their community. They're the smartest, kindest, most amazing people probably in the entire world.
which is what makes me love the program so much. I get to hang out and get to know and get welcomed into the group of such incredible people. And the program's for people that are 25 to 35. So it's for young adults that are already so accomplished, which is really incredible. And people in the US, across the country where the fellowship is hosted, get to share ideas and business practices with the fellows. And so that way of sharing ideas just enhances both communities. So it enhances Reno and enhances all the communities that the fellows are coming from, because best practices are pretty universal in a sense. Obviously, there's a cultural difference everywhere, even within the United States, that impacts the way you're going to run a business. But general best practices get shared, and you can see so many people that have benefited in Reno professionally. I would say I've seen even more so personally, just the kind of connections people get to make, and vice versa. So the fellows also get that same kind of professional and personal experience that is life-changing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I want you to elaborate a little bit more, is that because of Giving Tuesday and how we are so gracious to our partners, if you could talk about how awesome our partners are for YALI. I know that they get just as much out of it as the visitors do. If you could share that with our audience, I think it would be great to hear.
Yeah. So we have a lot of personal people, like individuals that partner with the program, and I can name some of those people. I don't know really what's
generally
appropriate in that situation.
About their emotions,
but
happy they are.
Yeah, okay. So the people that partner with us frequently for this fellowship in particular have a great time. And I'm thinking of a couple people in particular, but they have had the opportunity to then be sponsored to work on projects with the fellows that they meet here back in their own communities. And there's a lot of exchange happening after the fellowship, virtually, not just in person, like travel. So a lot of people that do partner with us then have these professional connections that blossom into either a project that's a one-time thing or a business connection that lasts. So thinking of one person in particular, they were able to help fund a new hospital in a community in Africa and they never went and they haven't seen it. Obviously, this happened this year, so there's no travel anyway, but
right.
They were able to participate in that. And then that really connected that community to the Reno community. And that's not a business connection in the traditional sense, but then we have so many industries represented in the fellows that relate to businesses in Reno. Like participants are placed based on that. So we've had a lot of engineers and people focused on environmental issues in their home communities that have been able to connect with agencies in the Reno area, which there are so many of just due to where Reno is located. And so that's been really cool to see the long-lasting connections between individual fellows and businesses in Reno or the Reno area that are like really big and really important and exciting to get to connect with. And then these fellows are making these professional connections with them that benefits both the fellow and that company in question. So definitely I see probably more of a impact on the local community than the local impact or the local community could impact the fellows. Like they bring so much just by the nature of who they are and how they interact with people and the heart that they have for their own communities and just the world in general.
Right. Okay. So tell us your favorite Mandela Washington Ship Fellow. I butchered it. Tell us your favorite story from the program that you've been managing the past few years.
Oh no. How do I pick one? So my personal favorite, like the thing that I have the most fun with, is when we go to DC. And so all 700 fellows are in DC, and then all the people that are running the fellowship at each university are also there. And seeing all the fellows together as one big group is really cool. And I'm really extroverted, so I like to be in a big group of people. And the fellows are really welcoming. I think I'm particularly lucky because I'm 26, so I'm the same age as a lot of the fellows that come, which makes it kind of weird because I'm managing their fellowship and they're, you know, older, smarter, and just more put together than I am. But they really welcomed me, even in DC. Fellows that I had never met before that 1 week really welcomed me into their community. And I got to meet some really incredible people and people that are interested in the same like policy that I am, or community initiatives that I am. So personally, that's probably my favorite thing. And it's really casual. There's less programming, so we have the evenings off and you can just meet and hang out and, you know, eat and drink together and just have a nice time. And it's, I was going to say there's a lot of fellowship, but that's silly, but just the community aspect of that is really cool.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Okay. So tell our audience how they can give to NNIC, and also tell us about what's going on with the fellowship in 2021.
Well, people can support NNIC in general, obviously, with financial donations. Those always help, especially for refugee resettlement. But especially for the Mandela Washington program or fellowship, and for the Fulbright T program, just being a willing partner to come and network with participants and visitors of really all of our programs benefit from that. You know, the point is to connect visitors with people in our community. That's why we do that. So to me, the most valuable way to donate to NNIC is with your time and your presence and your expertise. So that's something that we can't buy, we can't order. It really is wholly dependent on people being willing to connect with us and our visitors. Oh, and you asked about the fellowship in 2021. I can't really answer that question.
Okay.
That is to be determined.
Well,
and I can only say what I've been told, which is not a lot that I could share.
okay. Well, then we will look forward to more details when we get that program back running, because I know our community likes it a lot, as much as we all like it a lot, and so we really want to see, you know, you lead another cohort, you know, through town and to DC. So that's awesome.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know the community probably likes it even more than we do, which seems impossible, but the community has been so generous and so welcoming to our participants and to me. I've experienced that personally just by not being native to Reno. Reno's probably the most welcoming place I've ever been in my entire life. And our visitors say the same thing and say that it's their home away from home. And sometimes the visitors are only here for a couple of weeks and they still will say, oh, my home, Reno. And that's totally because of the people that interact with their fellows. It's not because of us and our home hosts and just the generosity of the community. So thank you to all the people that have supported us and given their time and opened up their homes to our visitors.
Yeah, that's I mean, Manuel knows too. It's just everywhere we go, and every time we ask and do campaigns like this, we get so much support, and we are really, really grateful for it. And on days like Giving Tuesday, you know, it's nice that we can reminisce about the positive things that a financial contribution helps keep the doors going, but it's the access to the people in our community, and it's the access to the world that's the value that's getting it, and that's where the money goes when people donate. So we can have amazing stories like what you were just sharing, and I would love to hear from our community some of the stories that they have about meeting with the visitors. So Lauren, thank you so much for sharing just some positive energy about something that's so close to your heart. We really love having you here at NNIC, so that's great. So
thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it just because I love it so much. A lot of people in my life are probably tired of hearing about it.
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's pretty darn cool. So, okay. Well, I think we're waiting for Gladys to come online. We're going to hear a little bit about the refugee resettlement program that we have at NNIC. And actually, Lauren, while we're waiting on Gladys, if you could talk about your role at the refugee program and what you were doing and how you were working with the community in support of our refugee families.
And Mike, I apologize. I don't think Gladys is going to join us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but let's talk to Lauren a little bit more.
Well, then Lauren knows a lot about the program too. So
He does,
Lauren, if you share with us whatever you can.
Of course. So my past position was the volunteer and donation coordinator, and the volunteers probably coordinated me more than I coordinated them. But I was just reaching out to the community for support with either time or with physical donations. So things like furniture and kitchenware and mattresses are always really needed. So if you have a mattress that is able to be donated, that'd be great. And I also just helped refugees get around to appointments and things as needed, and helped people figure out how to use a light switch if that was new to them, or that they can drink the water that comes out of the faucet, because that's new to essentially every single person that's not from America. And I think like all of our programs and just nonprofit life in general, just kind of helped with whatever was needed when it was needed. That was basically my role. It was kind of a while ago, so I'm trying to think what my day-to-day really looked like, but it was a lot of just figuring out how to secure donations and how to work with local organizations that are doing similar work to what we are doing. There's so many organizations that serve our refugees, and we would not be able to do refugee resettlement without their support. So that was also a big part of it, and that's a big part of the program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that you mentioned about, what families have to learn, not only the language barrier, right? There's a lot of things like, turning on the lights off and the stove and all these things, that for us is like, we can do it with our eyes closed, right? But many of the families have to learn everything from scratch. They haven't been in this type of environment, which allows them to have so much so quickly, and they have to learn so much so quickly a lot of times too. And I really think that I think not only our exchange programs, the language bank, as well as the refugee resettlement program, we see NNIC changing lives. And at this moment, as I'm taking a little opportunity to tell you that change matters. That's why we want your change, if you know what I'm saying, your little change in your pocket. But that would be great to get your donation. All jokes aside, your participation not only with our hosting a member that comes from anywhere in the world, or volunteering, but your donation matters today too. So I wanted to let you know 2 ways to donate: unr.edu/NNIC, or through Amazon Smile. Look for the Northern Nevada International Center. I do have one follow-up question for you, Lauren. You mentioned, through the exchange programs experience that you have had at NNIC, you mentioned a lot of the connection that all these guests have with Nevada and Reno and everything like that. What is one thing that kind of you have heard from one of them say, or 2 of them say, how rich that opportunity is, how important that opportunity was for them to be part of this community. And I know that some of your programs have been they're usually here for about, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3, sometimes 6, but they're able to, and there's so much that they gain from that experience. Can you tell us a little bit about something that relates to their experience here?
Yeah. Well, so just for example, I think I already mentioned it, but I'm pretty sure every single one of the 25 fellows from the Mandela Washington Fellowship last summer have said at some point, even recently, that they still consider Reno a second home. Same with our Fulbright T fellows. And something that's been really cool to see is not just the connection with people in Reno, but also the connection with each other, because they just spent 6 weeks together. And now they have these connections. For like the T teachers, it's all over the world. For the Mandela Washington Fellows, it's all over the African continent. And so that is mixed with then also having these really strong connections in an American city. And I think, the impact is different on each person. I know for our T teachers, there's a number of them that have continued exchange with their students. So the exchange with the teachers has trickled down to then impact, classes of about 25 kids in America and somewhere else in the world. So, that results in hundreds of more people experiencing the cultural exchange and the educational exchange that lasts then just from one person coming here. So it's a ripple effect, and that's something I think we talk about a lot in international exchange. Is once you understand someone else, someone that looks different or sounds different or is from a different part of the world, you come to understand that you don't have to be afraid of someone that's different. Different doesn't need to come with any kind of negative or positive connotation. It just is. And so that ripple effect is really seen, I believe, in our community especially, and that so many people have great positive experiences with our visitors, and then they tell their friends about it. So some of the organizations that I was involved in Reno knew all about our visitors coming and didn't even know it was the International Center. They just have heard about or went to a dinner with or ran into at an event international visitors. So the impact really just ripples out, and I've essentially only heard super feel good, beautiful stories from everyone that I've talked to.
Yeah.
That didn't really answer your question directly, but
So that's okay.
I think it's important to note.
Well, I think you bring up a good point, is that, with everything being virtual now, if those physical connections are so important to our community, and everyone was enjoying that positive energy and enjoying these things that they didn't know that NNIC was doing behind the scenes, that we were adding such joy, to people's lives through with our visitors, not just us, but making it happen, is that our new challenge in 2021 is to do the same thing, but unfortunately virtually. So, we're upgrading our technology. We're trying to do everything to make our community still have that access point to the world, and vice versa, because Reno is an awesome city. We don't want to stop promoting it. And there's awesome people in the world that we want to host and be with here. So, that's really what our challenge is for 2020. So let's hope we can keep up that good work.
I think we can. We're learning, and we're learning extremely quickly.
Yes.
And it seems to be going well. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of our advantages, Mike and Lauren, the fact that NNIC is very good at being flexible and adapting to changes, just like the one we're dealing with COVID and et cetera. But a lot of times we have programs that, either there's a flight that is late or something to that effect, and we have to, change a few things and make it better. But at the very end of the day, it's important from people to have that experience and have heard from, like Darren, a lot of times they don't know the work. A lot of people don't know the work that goes behind, coordinating all this transportation and 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 Lauren's work, and and Stacy's work, and everyone's work. There's a lot of things that do happen, and what you see in front of you, and what you see is there's a lot of work that went behind to make that happen. So, but we have two ways of people to donate. Lauren, would you like to tell people how to donate?
I believe on our website at unr.edu/NNIC.
Nice.
And on Amazon Smile, you can look up the Northern Nevada International Center.
There you go. Those are the two ways. And Kevin mentioned Instagram as well. So if you're part of our social media, if you're not part of our social media, we're broadcasting live on Facebook, on YouTube, and you're also part of Instagram as well. So please join all of our social media to stay up to date. If you haven't joined our newsletter, please do go to our website again and do it that way, so you can at least know what's happening with NNIC and what the challenges we're facing and how we need your help as well. Karina came on earlier and she did not talk about the amazing board members that we have as well, or maybe she did, but I was probably taking a nap since it feels like we've been broadcasting for 24/7. No, but anyway, the point that I'm making is that there's a lot of people also part of our board who are so amazing, and they do so many great things in the community, and they make us who we are as well. So thank you to all the board members, to all my coworkers, that came on today. Any lasting words? I did want to say something about just the language bank a little bit, but Lauren, if you have any other words that you would like to share with us before you go, but thank you again for joining us. It was pretty cool to hear from you.
Yeah, I will just add, I'll echo what you were saying, but to follow our social media and our newsletter, those are probably the best ways to hear about what's going on at the International Center, who's coming, who's here, what events are happening, how you can get involved, how you connect with visitors. And I think that's also where we share a lot of needs for RMP. So if you are interested in donating your time and expertise, that's probably the best way to know how to do that and when to do that. And always feel free to reach out to us if you want to be involved with our programs. Just contact us and we'll add you into the mix, and we'll figure out where you fit and what will work for you and what will work for the visitors. So the more the merrier. Like, we could never have too many people involved. So,
well, thank you, Lauren.
There's 3 ways to donate, I think, then.
Well, there you go. Multiple ways.
Time.
Thank you, Lauren, for coming on with us and joining us. It was pretty cool to hear. We really
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Lauren.
Well, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was going to actually add, there's one more way people can donate that we didn't mention. If you can't donate today for Giving Tuesday, you can always call us and we'll give you our address, and we'll always receive checks if that's a preferred method. We just wanted to make it easy for you today to do it that way. But we do appreciate your support very much so.
And there's a program I run called the Language Bank, which actually provides a lot of support as well for exchange programs a lot of times, for the refugee resettlement program. And we have, and I can tell you more, and that's my bread and butter, as they say, but Language Bank provides language access to a lot of community members, people who have to go to court, to the Department of Motor Vehicles, to the school district, parent meetings, employee meetings, and we provide qualified and certified interpreters who provide spoken languages, American Sign Language being one of them, and many more. We have about 20 in-person languages that we provide in our community. Nowadays, we've been hearing from our exchange programs about how we're going virtual. There's a lot of interpreters that we have provided, and we continue to provide to webinars and other things going on the web. And we also have translation services, and our translation services go up to more than 100 languages. So if you ever hear of somebody needing services like that, again, our website is a great resource, unr.edu/NNIC. And also, talking about the interpretation services that we provide, we also have about technology now that we're able to provide to our clients. And that comes in a form of video remote interpreting, which goes up to 15 languages currently, and it's a growing amount of languages every time they keep adding. And then also we have over the phone interpretation services that provides over 200 languages on demand. So those are our demand services. But I just wanted to kind of let you know.
Let me ask you a question, just because you're in the know, you know what's going on. I know that the Language Bank is a community resource, and that's, I think, what you're getting at. But if you could tell us the stories about either the commercials you did in the different languages with Washoe County, and then you can also talk about your work with the regional emergency center as well, because I think those two stories will really talk about how big of an impact your little operation has in our community.
You mentioned the Emergency Operations Center, right? We have the Washoe County REOC, what they call Regional Emergency Operations Center. We have done a lot of work with the county, like you mentioned. We've done a lot of efforts in terms of the census. Recently, we participated in the 2020 census, and we translated a bunch of work for the Nevada census or the U.S. census. And in that regard, Mike, about the emergency response, that was a very special project that I was involved with. We were not only providing interpreters, we were providing translation services, because the project focused on three things, three major hazards. Here in our region, we have earthquakes, we have floods, and we have wildfires. And a lot of times those things are faced, but a lot of times many people who speak other languages don't understand what to do in case of an emergency. And I think that project on its own was very critical to provide resources and also communication and information to people who might not know otherwise what to do in case of an emergency. But we actually provided that project in 5 different languages: American Sign Language, Cantonese, Mandarin, Spanish, and English being a language as well. But we did a bunch of that effort here, and also Tagalog was another from Philippines. But it was a really great project where we actually got people to tell us about how they perceive emergency. A lot of times, if you come from a different part of the world, you don't have alert systems. You don't have radio stations telling you what to do or where to go in case of an emergency. And so a lot of people have to adapt to that and learn that. So our work and our effort in that project particularly was very influential for that matter. But again, we've done very big projects with the census, with the emergency response project, multilingual project that we participated in, and we're able to do that. So if you are a company or somebody out there needs services like that, we can turn it around very quickly, but also do high quality job. And which, to your point, Mike, part of that project, we also did public service announcements that were put on YouTube. We actually also participated in creating a deaf or talk to the deaf community and learn from them too. And they participated in letting us know how they react to emergencies. And we actually created a website particularly for them specifically when it comes to those, what to do in terms of those 3 hazards that I mentioned. So thank you for bringing that up. But that has been pretty much one of my highlights. But, every time we're able to provide services, language services, to a community member or somebody that does not know how to speak or communicate, it makes a big impact. And many of us, Mike, have been in situations where we have actually gone to other parts of the world, and we have been pretty much felt, like in the middle of the desert, not knowing what to say or how to speak. And I think interpreters a lot of times are, they're the afterthought in a way, because they're not thought of as very important parts of communication. And I do want to mention that we have very extremely awesome medical certified interpreters in Nevada, as well as court and legal interpreters in Nevada. And many of our refugees have actually are becoming interpreters themselves. So they're actually becoming the lifeline or communication line for many of our efforts in the community. So Thank you for bringing that up. But you're right. Communication is very important, and language services is something that NNIC has provided for such a long time, and we continue to do it because it's very important. We want people to have a voice, and we want people to you know uh, be heard and feel good about what the services that they're providing. And if they're not, then there's always an interpreter or some type of document that gives them instruction and in their own language. And so that's very important to us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and thank you for letting us know, because that's what today's all about. It's to hear these stories that we, Manuel, you and I will do our best to continue this conversation and continue telling the great wonderful moments that we've had here at NNIC and what we've seen in the community. So we, for the audience, 2021 or 2020 was supposed to be our busiest year with the most visitors and the most programs. We have the most economic impact and the most cultural impact, and we were so excited, and we hope to bring that excitement back next year or whatever it might be. But we appreciate all your support out there, and help us create a virtual environment so we can still be connected with the world and vice versa.
And Mike, I know that we're getting near. I wanted to bring Kevin back on too, to just thank him and thank you and thank Karina and thank Stacy and thank Lauren and thank Ozara and Heaven and everyone who participated behind the scenes, and even the people who did not participate. Gladys and all the RMP team. We have Jackie now, who is our one of our case managers, as well as Chloe and Nilufer, and then who am I missing?
Nala and Brendy.
Yeah, Brandy and Nala. Yeah, that's right. Our fine finance team. But we are an amazing organization because of your contributions, of your efforts, of your of you caring for us. And we usually do a good job for the most part of caring back and providing our love back to everyone who participates or comes through our organization. So but Mike, thank you so much for joining me today on a live cast. I think this is important for us to do constantly. But also, don't forget, just because today is Giving Tuesday doesn't mean tomorrow is not Giving Wednesday or Giving Thursday, right? So please donate money every single time, as much as you can. I know that I don't like asking for money, kind of thing, but I think it's important for people to realize that without their contribution, some way, somehow, our organization cannot do it on its own.
Well, and I, my sentimental self, the donations again that are given to us literally change the world. The impact of our programs, although they're local, they are really global. And all of those experiences that our community resources, just by volunteering or taking the time or by donating money, I think that's a motivator for them, because they realize that something they would not be able to have any ability to affect, they're now being able to help people in Africa. They're now being able to make political tensions go away, because we're having the tough conversations with adversaries and allies and all this stuff. And there's a lot to it. So the money goes it doesn't just fall flat. It really has a reverberating effect, and we want to keep leading Nevada's global engagement just for that reason.
And something else, Mike, really quickly, you always wonder why we need more peace in the world, right? But a lot of times, all those people that have come through the organization and been impacted by them coming through us in exchange programs, etc., they're changing the world, and they're creating peace and harmony in their communities, and providing more wonderful things for their world as well. So we're very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to be working for the Northern Nevada International Center, as I'm sure you are, Mike. And Kevin, where is Kevin taking a nap or something? Anyway, but I wanted to remind you. Oh, there he is. He was taking a nap. He's awake. But I wanted to let you know about our effort that we're doing today, how you can donate, unr.edu/NNIC. You can do it year round. You don't have to wait for this event to come around every single year, as well as Amazon Smile. So please donate. Look for the Northern Nevada International Center there. And like Kevin mentioned, we have Instagram and Facebook page. Just stay in touch with us, would you please? And you might not be able to donate money today. There's a lot of people who are struggling around the world. We understand that, so we don't want to pick on you, but thank you for everything that you do and all the things that you have allowed us to become, and we are who we are because of your efforts and everything that you do for us. Kevin, would you like to say any final words? And I'll give the same opportunity to Mike before we end this fine broadcast brought to you by NNIC.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay, that was simple enough.
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah. I'm going to wrap it up. I think Manuel, you did an excellent job, and Kevin, thank you for all your support making this happen. And I think we have some good things to look forward to, and we appreciate the community. And we're gonna, if you need us to do anything for you, we're happy to do that too. So thank you again for being with us.
Yeah, and we usually don't. We're a selfless organization, but today we're a little selfish today.
Yeah, help us be selfish.
Yeah. Donate. So maybe give us money so that we don't become a selfless organization still. So anyway, thank you all so much. It was great having everyone alive, and we appreciate your efforts. Please continue to stay in touch with us and join our newsletter, our Facebook page, as well as our Instagram, as well as Twitter. We're on Twitter too. We're all over the place. We're this. Karina has a good way of describing us. We're a little mighty organization that does so much for the world, for Nevada, and we are Leadings Nevada's global engagement. So that's who we are, the Northern Nevada International Center. I think we're done, guys.
Okay.
Now we can go to sleep.
Yeah, go to bed, Manuel.
Go to bed. Okay. Everyone, thank you so much. Please donate. And happy Tuesday and happy Giving Tuesday. Please donate. And we appreciate you being part of our broadcast today.
Yes. Thank you.
Adiós, amigos. Gracias a todos.